All right, get ready for something that is going to absolutely blow your mind today. We're about to uncover an incredible gem that's been hiding in plain sight inside one of the most common, everyday words in the entire Arabic language. I promise you, after this, you will never hear this word the same way again.
So let me ask you a question. Could a simple word like this actually be hiding a profound secret? I mean, we use it all the time just to point at things. But what if I told you that in Arabic, that simple act of pointing carries a whole universe of meaning about respect, about spiritual distance, and even about divine warnings?
So the word we're talking about is hada. If you've ever studied even a little bit of Arabic, this is probably one of the very first words you learned. On the surface, it just means this. You pointed a book, hada kitab. You pointed a house, hada bait. Seems simple enough, right?
Well, here's where it gets interesting. Translating hada as just this is kind of like describing an iceberg by only talking about the little bit of ice you see sticking out of the water. Yeah, you're technically correct, but you are missing the massive, profound reality that's hidden just beneath the surface. And trust me, what's hidden here is absolutely amazing.
So, to really get what's going on, we've got to take this word apart. Let's break it down.
So here's the first big surprise. Hada isn't actually one word. It's two separate parts smashed together. You've got ha and you've got the. Now the second part, the, that's the part that actually means this. So what on earth is that ha at the beginning doing there?
That first little piece, ha, is what grammarians call a particle of alerting. I know, it sounds fancy, but its job is super simple. It's basically a verbal tap on the shoulder. It exists purely to grab the listener's attention right before you point something out.
So, a much more accurate, more emotionally true translation of hada isn't just this. It's more like, attention, this thing, or maybe even something a bit more dramatic like, lo and behold, this right here. It has this little bit of drama, this call to focus, baked right into the grammar.
Now, that's cool by itself, but this is where it gets really deep. This is where a simple piece of grammar becomes a profound spiritual indicator. And we find the clue for this in the Quran.
Okay, so picture the scene. It's a direct conversation between God and the prophet Musa. That's Moses. Allah asks him, "Hey, why did you rush ahead of your people?" Now listen very, very carefully to how Musa replies.
Now, to talk about these people, the normal standard Arabic word would be ha'ula'i. You see it's got that ha for alerting right at the beginning. But look at what Musa actually says. He says, ula'i. He completely drops the ha. He doesn't say, attention, these are. He simply says, these are.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question. Why? Why would he do that? When you're speaking directly to the creator of the entire universe, why would you leave out the part of the word that means attention?
And the answer is just, it's so beautiful. It is an act of the most profound politeness. Prophet Musa knows he is speaking to the one who is all-hearing, all-seeing. God doesn't need a tap on the shoulder. He doesn't need to be alerted. By dropping the ha, Musa is linguistically showing his deep reverence and the incredible sense of closeness he feels. Now let's look at the complete opposite. In the Quran, whenever disbelievers are shown speaking to Allah, they always use the full word with the ha particle. They're constantly saying, attention, this, to the one being in existence who needs absolutely no alerting.
And you see, this isn't just a random grammar choice. It's a window into their souls. Their speech reveals their spiritual distance. It shows they never really understood God. They never grasped His infinite awareness. Their language gives them away.
But wait, because it gets even more fascinating when you see how Allah Himself uses this particle. When God is addressing people in the Quran, especially people who are heedless or in denial, He uses that alerting particle over and over and over again.
This repetition is so much more than just getting attention. It's about pure emphasis. It is the linguistic equivalent of being grabbed by the shoulders and shaken awake. It's God saying, hey, you, I am talking to you, and you need to listen closely because this is serious.
So, when you pull all these pieces together, you start to see the big picture. And it highlights a massive problem. Almost all of this incredible depth is completely lost in translation.
Just think about it. When we just read the word this in English, what do we lose? We lose the profound politeness of a prophet standing before his Lord. We lose the subtle clue of a disbeliever's spiritual coldness. We lose the thundering urgency of a divine warning. All of that emotion, all that context is packed into one tiny particle, and it just vanishes.
And this is a perfect example of why it's so often said that the Quran can only be truly and fully experienced in its original Arabic. It doesn't matter how good the translator is. How do you possibly carry over these layers of meaning, these spiritually charged nuances that are baked right into the grammar of the language itself?
So now that your mind is spinning with all this, I've got a little challenge for you, kind of like a pop quiz, to test out your new insight.
Okay, question 1. The Arabic word for what is madha. Now, based on everything we've just talked about, what 2 parts do you think that word is really made of? Go ahead, take a guess. The clue is at the end of the word.
And okay, here's one for my tajweed nerds out there. You know who you are. In that word we mentioned, ha'ula'i. Why is the first long vowel sound, the first med, considered disconnected, while the second one is considered connected? The answer is hidden in everything we've discussed today.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If there is this much detail, this much profound meaning packed inside a word as simple as this, how many other incredible secrets are just hiding there in plain sight, waiting to be discovered inside the words we think we already know?